All right, folks, it is time for some Imposter Kings action. You are in the right place and the right time. It is Friday night. It is match number 4, Shane versus Junoballs. Let's get right into it. Talking right now is Dan Koch, and let's take a look at my co-host right here, Sina. Sina, great to see you tonight. How you feeling? Are you excited for some more Imposter Kings action?
Sure am. We had a great opening night, and two people who are fighting here today, they are quite the pair. They are friends. They've been training with each other. They've been waiting for this moment just to be pitted against each other at the beginning of the tournament. So they used to be friends. Now they're a little bit of frenemies, and I know that there's going to be a lot of tension between both of them. They've played each other quite a lot.
That's right. I noticed a lot of trash talk across the various Discords earlier today. Maybe more so between the two players and tonight's audience than between each other, but a lot of high-intensity action. Anything you can expect new tonight based off of what we saw on Wednesday night? Do you think players, having seen the first match of the tournament, might be thinking a little differently tonight?
Well, Shane actually didn't love the judge when he first started playing this game, but after seeing some of the judge play that we saw on the first night, he did admit that maybe there is a little bit more value to that card than you see at first glance. And so yeah, I think that both players studied the tapes. I think they've studied each other. They've played against each other. They've played against me. They've been training pretty hard for this moment, so I'm pretty excited to see what they have to offer.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I know I've been looking forward to this match the entire time. I'm really excited for this to be the second match of our tournament, and I think there's going to be a lot of action that we can anticipate in one very closely fought set of hands. Well, for all of you who are joining, there might be some of you who are joining anew. Let's begin by diving into how this game is played. So I'm going to pause the music here and jump on over to our tutorial to walk everyone through how to play Imposter Kings. So, how to play. Players take turns playing a card from their hand onto the throne. The objective is to be the last player able to play a card onto the throne at the center of the table. So you win if you're the last player who can make a valid play. When it comes to making a play, cards can only be played on cards of equal or lesser value, unless they have a special ability that allows them to get played on the current top card. So let's take an example card right here. Again, it's the Elder, again projecting big Karen energy and giving us the side eye. Note the Elder has that big number 3 in the top left-hand corner. That means the card is worth 3 and can be played on any throne card that's 3 or less. But note also that text at the bottom of the card that says you may play this card on any royalty. There are 2 royalty cards. They're both 9s, but despite that big 9 in the corner of those royalty cards, the Humble Elder can be played on top of them. A lot of cards have abilities that let them get played out of turn. It's an important part of the game. Speaking of the cards, there are 18 cards in the deck. It's the same 18 cards every time. Each player is dealt 8. Of the remaining 2 cards, one gets burned face up and one gets burned face down. And that face down burn card is so critical because otherwise whatever cards are in your hand are cards that your opponent doesn't have, and whatever cards you don't have are likely cards your opponent does have. Information is extremely important here. Each player also starts with the face up king card. Prior to each hand, each player must burn 1 card of the 8 they got delivered. That goes face down. They must also select 1 card as their successor card, which they'll place face down next to their king. That card is technically not in their hand, but the king can allow them to retrieve it based off of its special ability. So speaking of those king cards, again, each player has the king in front of them, which they can play once per hand. And using their king does 2 things. One is it disgraces the current card that's on the throne. We'll talk about what that means in a second. And it also allows you to take the successor off the table and stick it in your hand. Speaking of disgracing, a disgraced card on the throne has a value of 1 and no special properties. So if you flip your king to disgrace a card, it goes from being its formidable self to just a humble one with nothing special. Meantime, looking at another sample card, here's the Inquisitor. 2 of the 18 cards are this rather surly looking chap. He's a 4, as you can see in the top left-hand corner. He also has this special ability. You may say a card name. Other players with that card in their hand must play one to their antechamber. What's the antechamber? Well, cards in the antechamber must be played next turn, regardless of whether it would otherwise be a valid play. So when you play an Inquisitor, you can guess a card in your opponent's hand, and if they have it, they have to play that card next turn. So not only do you get information about what they had, you also force their hand in terms of what they do next. A couple of other cards to keep your eyes on out of those 18. On the left is the Fool. The Fool is just a humble 1, which means it can only be played at the start of a hand or undisgraced cards, but it has an incredibly formidable power. It can pull any card that's still face up on the table right into your hand. It can be game-breaking if you can play it at the right time. On the right-hand side, you see the Assassin. Again, just the 2, but if you have the Assassin in your hand and your opponent uses their king and flips it, it's game over and you win instantly. So players are going to want to keep a close eye on whether or not they have the Fool and the Assassin and what they can do to fight the Fool and the Assassin, because they can change the fates of the hands very quickly. Finally, a couple things to note. The game tonight is to 7 points. The scoring per hand, you get 1 point for winning a hand. You get an additional point for winning the hand with your opponent still having a card in their hand they can't play. And you also get an additional point if you can win a hand without using your king. So that's how you play Imposter Kings. Setting the table for the tournament tonight. Let's just take a quick look at how that's stacking up. So here's the bracket as it is right now. In the top left-hand corner, we have the results from the first game. Master X 328 and Johnny Go were in a pitched battle. Master X 328 pulled it out 7-3 and advances on to the next stage of the winner's bracket. Johnny Go goes down to the loser's bracket, but that is not the end by any means. He can still play his way back in. Very well can. Anything can happen there. And in terms of who Johnny Go will play, he will play the winner, or actually the loser of the Mr. Rogers Dolan game. The winner of that will play Master X. For the game tonight, we're looking at Shane versus Junoballs. So again, the winner of that match will advance on to the next stage of the winner's bracket. The loser will drop into the loser's bracket, but again, it's double elimination. Anything can happen. All right, Sina, well, popping on back in. Just to do one last gander, anything else we can anticipate tonight before we start playing some Imposter Kings?
Yeah, I'm going to introduce the 2 contenders today. As I mentioned, they're very close friends, training buddies, but that means that they're both fiercely wanting to win this game. So looking at their profiles, Junoballs, 5'9", 210, hailing from Renton, Washington, burst into the professional Imposter Kings circuit in August 2019 at an LA Invitational. So this isn't his first rodeo, as he likes to put it. He's come down from the mountains to kind of fight for his honor. He's got a couple of interesting plays, and I can't wait to see what he's got in store for us tonight. On the other side, we have Shane, who is a gem and a gemmer, a man that loves games, westerns, and a taste of mustard. That is his quotes, not mine. Shane has been playing this game. He's already submitted a couple of ideas for cards, so he's invested into it. And despite calling this game pure RNG, I know that he has a special part in this for this game in his heart. So I'm really looking forward to it. They are going to fight to the death here, and I know that whoever wins or whoever loses, they even have a personal bet riding on this outside of the game. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
That's right. I don't want to spoil it for the audience, but there is a purchase of the Fall Guy, or Fall Guys in the future. Fall Guys, plural, right? Help me out here, Sina. It's plural,
yeah,
right?
Fall Guys. I don't know. It's a game. We're not advertising games on our stream here, Dan.
We're not being compensated, so I'm not supposed to bring it up. But nonetheless, there is more than just pride at stake here tonight. There is cold hard cash as well, or at least the purchase of Steam Key. So it should be interesting indeed. Well, all right, folks, the stage is set. The tilt is ready. Our players are eager to go after it. So let's play some Imposter Kings. All right, folks, see you over on the big board. And there you have it. As you can see, we've got Shane and Junoballs staring each other down from across the table. They are ready for action, so let's go ahead and get the first deal going. Here's the signal, and off we go.
All right, buddy. I guess we've got a game of Imposter Kings to play.
Yes, yes, we do.
Let's grab a king.
All right, the deal of the kings is important.
You are determining.
Sounds good to me.
Because one of the kings is the true king, also known as the first player king, as we see here. The true king gets to decide who goes first at each hand. Usually goes to the player who lost the previous hand, but it's by random deal at the beginning, and it can be very important. All right, we've got our hands out there, so let's go ahead and take a look at what Junoballs got delivered.
At this point, I believe we're supposed to hold.
And he's right. So looking at Junoballs' hand here, interesting. You got both eights, the king's hand and the sentry and the assassin. One elder to counteract the royalty cards he does not have. Sina, what do you make of this hand?
Yeah, I mean, he's got the assassin. He's got 2 8s. Those are both really powerful, and he only has 1 elder. If I'm looking at this hand, I'd be scared of Shane's ability to be able to counteract. Well, he has the 2 royalty, I think, and it's going to be tough for Junoballs to actually beat that. But this is a very playable hand, so we'll see what happens here.
Excellent. All right, and speaking of what is in Shane's hand, let's zoom across the board, and indeed he does have both royalty. He, interestingly, does not have the Fool. It must be one of the 2 burn cards. We'll see which one here in a second, but it seems like a very playable hand indeed.
Yep, absolutely. He's got a lot of really good cards. He's got the Mystic, but yeah, you would really expect him to have the Fool. He might be able to use that to his advantage, bluffing that he has it, because that's a scary combo to have the Fool and the Oathbound in your hand, which we'll probably see tonight. So,
all right, let's take a look at what burn cards are out there. We'll go ahead and help them out. So that's the face down burn card. It's the Oathbound. The face up burn card is going to be the Fool. So they will know that the Fool is not in play, that the other player does not have it. What they won't know is that that second Oathbound will be unaccounted for. So there we have it. Let's go ahead and fire them up.
All right, buddy. So now they've pinged, which means we've got to discard and set a successor card. Yeah, nomenclature.
Yeah. And we should determine who's going first.
Oh, right, correct, yes. Let's see. I will go first.
Interesting. Juno electing to go first. Johnny Go, bearish on Junoballs' likelihood of winning this hand. In the chat, Gavzilla's there cheering him on. It'll be interesting to see, Sina, from your perspective, how would you lead off this hand if you're Junoballs?
well, he's definitely got the Inquisitor, but he can also, he might be throwing away that Judge. I was going to say a Judge allows you to guess something in the player's hand. And that could be really beneficial because then you don't have to sacrifice the Inquisitor so early. But he does know that he has the Assassin, so therefore he can just drop the Inquisitor and just get those Queen and Princess out, or maybe even the Mystic if he wants to get rid of the ability for
so
Shane to be able to
put them
cancel his
going
abilities.
from the pile of cards out to the side here. Don't actually know where they're supposed to go. I'm going to play the Inquisitor as my first move. I may say a card name, and if you have it, you must play it to your antechamber. I am going to say the Assassin.
Ooh, we got ourselves a bluff first round.
So,
do not have the Assassin.
Junoballs has the Assassin, and he knows that.
Okay,
He's just trying to bluff.
To you at 4, then.
he has the Assassin, and he has it as a successor card. So he's trying to conceal it in case Shane wants to use his own Inquisitor to try to call his bluff on that. So a real devious play to start right at the beginning.
In the first round.
You know, setting up that 9D chest, the big brain moves. But again, it's good to be unpredictable. You put more things for your opponent to consider into their head. So what a wild way to start.
You know he's thinking about it. Shane is not going to be able to shake this one off. He's going to have a sneaking suspicion this entire time. And there you go. He doesn't use his Inquisitor immediately.
And I am going to say the card name Warlord.
I do have a warlord.
So if we're guessing
Okay, this
correctly,
little baby is a 7 now, and I will disgrace that.
his little
Gross.
baby, as he calls it, becomes a 7. So his soldier is now a 7, and he can disgrace up to 3 cards in the court, which would help him actually fire off his Mystic's ability, which requires something to be disgraced in the court.
Right, that's a good play. Play conservative in terms of guessing what was in Junoballs' hand, but right, it sets up. Oh, there goes the assassin into his hand. It sets up his
Flipping his
mystic,
king early.
and
It
it
is
puts
now open
numerical
to you.
pressure on him, which you want him to do.
Flipped my king and took my successor card into my hand.
Okay,
So Shane still has that
I'm gonna
Inquisitor
do
to
some
see.
thinking.
Yeah, he's thinking about that Inquisitor. That Inquisitor can get rid of the assassin if he thinks that Juno is tricking him.
That's right, and that's the big thing. So Inquisitors are great assassin hunters, because if you can guess the opponent has the assassin in their hand, then they have to play it. And you can't use the assassin to kill you if you've played it.
He's thinking about it. We'll see if he calls out the assassin here. He is thinking about it. The downside of guessing incorrectly is that he
To
just puts
play
out
the
4.
Mystic,
Oh, go straight to the Mystic.
and I will use its ability for the value of 8.
Oh, he wiped the 8s. And Junoballs has both of them in his hand. Shane suspected it, and now those 8s
Now-
have lost their flavor.
It is open board to me, correct?
Correct.
I'm surprised he didn't King's Hand that, which is the 8 that allows him to cancel or counterspell that Mystic. Instead, he's electing to keep those 2 8s, which are still pretty powerful, but they come down to a value of 3, and they lose all their card text. So that's what that Mystic does. You
right.
disgrace it, but all the 8s become useless, essentially, and come down to a value of 3 after being played.
That's right. So they can still be played as 8s, but they'll stand as 3s on the throne, and they lose their abilities, and they are powerful abilities. So strong play by Shane there, catching Junoballs out.
But Junoballs still has that pocket assassin.
He does. Now, one thing Junoballs has that puts him in a tough spot is
Wheels are turning.
Wheels are turning.
he's
I
already
am just
flipped
gonna
his
get this
king.
out of the way and play my soldier. Where I get
Yeah, you're right.
Come on, rotate. To name one of your cards, to move this up to a 7, I'm going to say the queen.
You are correct.
Okay.
Oh, he's going to force Shane to either play one of his royalty or flip his
It's
king.
2U and it is a 7.
So yeah, the only issue is that now Junoballs has no way to deal with the double 9s. He has 1 elder, but he doesn't
I
have
am
a king
going
to
to play
flip.
the princess,
And I think
Woof.
that Shane knows this.
and I will use its ability to choose and... You know what? No. I will not use its ability. It is a straight 9.
Interesting. If he had used
Okay.
the ability, then the right move for Junoballs would have been to King's Hand it, because that's, again, the only way he'll be able to survive both of those royalty card plays.
However, the Mystic did cancel out the 8s, so he's not even able to King's Hand it.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Forgot about that. So yeah, Gavzilla's asking how the Oathbound works. So the Oathbound is a 6, but if you play it on a card higher than a 6, it will disgrace the card you played it on, but then you must play another card immediately. Powerful combos with that.
Okie
Junoballs forced to play his Elder there. And the question is, does Shane realize that the Queen could put Junoballs away right now for a 3-point win?
Sure. Oops. And... I will name the Oathbound.
There we go. He's getting rid of all the cards that
No,
Junoballs
I
could
don't
potentially
have to
have
move
Okay.
to beat that queen. And so now at this point, he has to realize,
my
because he
turn
had the
on
other
the
elder,
floor.
he has to realize that Junoballs does not have a way to deal with this queen.
That's right. Because of his play there, he has confirmed that the other Oathbound was the face-down burn
I'm
card.
just going to play this 8 that you killed. And it is now a 3 after I play it. I'm going to start a new row. So because you used your Mystic earlier, that 8 is an 8 when I play it, but it becomes a 3.
Wow, Juno's an educator.
No
I love it.
test.
And I'm going to play the queen and disgrace the rest of the court.
Oof.
And that's it.
And there is absolutely nothing I can do.
3 points.
It's 3 points. Yep.
So
Killed me with the 8s.
I get you for having cards in hand and a flipped
Yeah,
king.
it's a 2-pointer. Yeah.
I think it's a 3-pointer.
That's
Oh, is it
3.
3-pointer? 1 point for. Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. Boy, that was a steamroll.
Yeah, I had a really good hand.
Yeah, I tried to be tricksy.
So there you have it.
It's hard to
3 points.
Play. I also burned one of the elders,
Yeah.
so I knew you were kind of trouble with both my royalty.
So, yeah, as they're getting set up, what do you think about that hand there, Dan?
So a couple of things. Shane played excellently there. He great knowledge of the cards, great knowledge of what was likely in Junoballs' hand, the use of the Mystic to neutralize his 8s, knowing that he had the inside track between having one of the elders and both of the royalty, knowing that he didn't have anything to fear after he confirmed the Oathbound was not in Junoballs' hand. Just really excellent play there. What do you think, Sina?
I think they're still debating some of the cards there because they were like, look at all the things I could have had with the 8. Shane realizes now that Juno had the assassin. Sneaky assassin acknowledgement there, and I think it's kind of funny. They're both laughing over it. So I think they're going to go ahead and get ready for the second round here. And yeah, I mean, I think that was a really interesting start. Both sides had kind of an equal chance, I think, of grasping that. I think Junoballs electing to go first had a really good bluff going, but then flipped his king maybe just a little too early. I love the bluff, though.
That's right. Might have gotten a bit over eager, and that's what handcuffed him there. All right. So Shane is drawn his. It looks like that's a false draw. We'll let them replay that. In the meantime, a couple of quick shout-outs in chat. Bust the Crimes 81, great to see you. Johnny Go, your question, would you King's hand the Mystic if you have both 8s? That would have potentially been a good play there for Junoballs. I'm not sure if it would have made a difference here, but generally it's the way to go if you're going to lose both 8s. That way you only lose one, and you make them burn their Mystic. So, all right, here we go. They're making their draw now. Let's go ahead and see what the burn cards are. So we're going to go ahead and flip one. The Judge is the face-up burn card. Oh, and the Princess is the face-down burn card. And that can play mayhem when one of the royalty cards is the face-down burn. All right, well, first player King remains with Junoballs. Let's go ahead and take a look at his hand. Got a King's hand. Neither the Assassin nor the Fool, and only one Oathbound. I don't know, Sina, what do you think about this one?
That's a tough one. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't know that the Princess is the face down, so he's thinking he's got both royalty, I've got both elders, I'm going to keep both those elders, which is kind of a bummer for him. And yeah, I mean, I think a 7-8, maybe a 6, no Fool, you've got to be a little bit scared here because you have to assume that your opponent has not only an Oathbound Fool combo, but also an Assassin. So I would either try to play for either a 2-point loss or less, or a mulligan here. You know me, I like to save my mulligans, though.
That's right. This is a possible mulligan hand. It's stronger than it appears because of the fact that the Princess is face down burn, but of course he doesn't know that. Flipping around the table to look at Shane's hand. So there's the Queen, as we know, the Fool and the Assassin, and the Warlord and Sentry. I'd say this is quite a strong hand, a good rainbow hand.
Yeah, this is going to kill if this is a potential 3-pointer, I think. And so this is devastating, I think, for Junoballs. We'll see if he decides to keep his hand or what he's going to do about it, but he's got to get out of there alive. This is crazy. So
yeah, I would say it would be good for him to get out of this with a 2-point loss, which makes it very mulliganable indeed. All right, well, let's see what he does.
Okay.
See that hand hovering? It looks like he's going to play it. So again, as a reminder, each player gets 1 free mulligan per game. That just means you toss your hand aside, everything gets redealt. It's like it never happened.
Oh, wait, I'm supposed to tell us who goes first.
Oh, right. It probably won't change anything. But
Yeah, I'm going to change what I discarded.
I think Shane's grinning
I
ear
guess
to
I'll
ear
go
right
first
now with
again.
his hand.
I will go first.
Okay.
So let's see. Junoballs burned a soldier. Shane also burned a soldier, so no soldiers will be hitting the table this time around. Junoballs picked the Zealot as his successor. Zealot's usually a good sturdy successor. It gains most of its value after the king is flipped, because once the king is flipped, it can be played on any non-royalty card. Until then, it's just the 3. And Shane's got an embarrassment of riches. His hand is so strong, it might be hard to figure out who to make the successor here. And it looks like he's gone with the Sentry, an interesting choice.
Okay.
So Juno needs to call out the assassin with the Inquisitor in order to survive this round, I think. Let's see if he'll do that.
So I'm going to play my Inquisitor. This must be the most commonly played first card in the game.
He's not wrong.
It is, and I only recently learned to start using it a little later in the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's a common first play, probably the most common.
I am going to call out the Queen.
Interesting.
Well, geez.
Going right at the Queen.
There she is.
Okay,
There she is.
No, and she disgraces this dude.
Interesting. Probably going to follow that up with an Elder play, I would imagine.
I sure hope so. I sure hope he doesn't fall to that assassin this early. He does have the King's Hand, which is kind of if he wants to do that anime play where he just flips his king really early, even though there's a threat that the other player has the assassin. He just wants to do it for the heart of the cards. He can because he has that safety net. But he would be sacrificing an 8 for a 2.
Okay, so now I am.
Yeah, imagine if he called the princess. That would have been terrible for him.
3 points guaranteed. So playing
Can't
the
really
Mystic.
play that.
Discard it.
Can't play the Mystic right now because he
Call
again,
out.
of course, it's a 9 that he needs to play on.
That's right. That's an illegal play.
Boy. The number 2.
Hold it. We gotta pause him up here.
Yep,
All right.
already did.
Wait. Oh, hang on. Hang on. We're getting a rules adjudication here. Choose a number. Wait. If
Choose
there
a
are any
number.
disgrace appearance. Oh, I was thinking I could play this on I'm switching up card flavor text. Boy, this is
We all
embarrassing.
do.
It happens. It definitely
No
happens.
worries.
Yep. Oh, no.
The only drawback for that,
do
of
that
course,
fine.
is now he's confirmed that he has the Mystic in his hand. But, that's probably not a huge surprise.
Anything can happen.
Chamber of Wonder. All right, well, here we go.
They're discussing theory
3 to
now.
you.
But straight to that 3rd, as we predicted. He either had to flip his king or play the 3. Flipping his king would have been disastrous, so glad he went with the 3, and now he has the opportunity to take care of that assassin like he wanted to. Oh, I'm actually not a huge fan of this
So
warlord
this
play.
is now a 9. The queen is in the court.
Well, he's
So he's gonna-
he's gambling that that Junoballs doesn't have an Oathbound. If he didn't, then that would be checkmate right there.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he would have to flip his king, and then there'd be a king's hand, but
Well,
You can't King's Hand the
getting rid
Warlord.
of
That's
all
a
my
good
cards
question
now.
from Johnny Go. The Warlord's ability is passive, so it cannot be
I'm going
King's
to,
Handed.
you could only king's hand it if
Oathbound. on
if
that
you're
9,
able to make an ability.
because I
so
may
if it's
play this on a
choice.
higher value card to disgrace that card. Whoop!
Okay.
And then I must play another card of any value,
And so now he
I'm
could
going to
do
play the Mystic.
Yep.
which we've previously seen, and call out the number 2.
Okay, so that's how he dispatches the assassin, by using the Mystic's ability.
I don't see how this is going to go well for me, though. Thank you to the game runners.
I think that he's actually going to succeed holding it to a 2-point hand.
Well, he actually might have the option to run out his cards if he can
Yeah.
hold on enough. There is a possibility he could hold on to make this a 1-point hand.
Ooh.
And that would be, I'd consider, a big victory given how this looked at the beginning.
Yeah. So there's a couple of options for Shane here, and he's pondering them. He could play the Fool, but it could get King's Handed if he did it. And he knows that Juno probably has the King's Hand. Oh, he's just going to get rid of that 2, which is now a 3 thanks to the Mystic. The Mystic switches
move,
a card up to a 3 after it's played, and it has no abilities anymore. So that's the reason why he tossed it. So now he can safely flip his king. He can save it. He should be aware that Shane has the Fool, potentially with the Fool Oathbound combo, which is a combo we haven't seen yet, and I'll describe it when it comes up. But essentially, if Junoballs plays a card that's higher than a 6, he can play the Oathbound into the Fool and pick up any card from the court, and it can't be King's Handed. And so he has to be really careful here. So if he plays that King's Hand, that's a lot of trouble for him.
Now, the big thing again is a reminder, these players don't know that the princess is in neither of their hands.
That's true.
And that's why Junoballs is holding on to that Elder, because he's burned from the first hand. He thinks, I need a countermeasure for another royalty play, but it's not going to come. And again, that's the devious thing about that face-down burn card.
But it could come here when Shane decides to do his Oathbound Fool combo, which I'm guessing he has to do it. Nope. What? He's flipping his king. He must think that Junoballs has the princess or something, but I would have definitely done the Oathbound Full combo there because he could have picked up the queen.
I think you've got this one, bud.
He, again, still does not know that the princess is not in his hand. Maybe talking a little too much, Junoballs, is letting him know that perhaps he doesn't have the princess.
3 to you.
This is insane how much that burn card is doing damage to both the players' strategies. And of course, it's a lot easier sitting on this caster's perch, you know, looking down and seeing exactly what all the cards are.
Okay.
Sina, he is guaranteed a 1-point loss here, because his successor is a Zealot, which can be played on anything that's out there. So he's going to get away with just losing 1 point, which is a terrific victory given how things looked at the beginning.
Yeah. That's absolutely right.
So Sentry hits the table.
I'll just straight 8.
Sentry's an 8.
Oh my goodness. Boy. We're just embarrassing ourselves all over here, but
All good.
all good.
He has no idea that he's not embarrassing himself right now.
Yeah, he has done a terrific rearguard action here.
So he's going to pick up
That's
the
it for
queen.
me.
He's going to play the Zealot. And that's a 1-point hand. So now he just has to play
Just
whatever card.
drop
Yeah, I mean, any card Shane can play, which will confirm a victory, but a 1-point
I mean, you're
victory.
going to play that Zealot, right?
Yeah. Well, no, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Okay.
It's over.
Well, you do want to clear your hand out, right?
Right.
Because then otherwise I get another point. So I believe I get 1 point for this.
Yes, you get a win, but your king is flipped, and I'm out of cards.
Got it.
It's easy for us here, knowing and having perfect information, to
All
say,
right.
to look at what could have been. But again, that face-down princess
You remain in the true king chair.
dramatically altered everything. And I think that was reflected
there
in
we
a lot
go.
of those plays.
They're
When
actually saying it
back
right
when I
now.
played this assassin, I was going to potentially drop this instead and call out the princess.
Huh.
But didn't work out that way.
Yeah, they both just realized that the princess was burned. Actually, funny enough, if Shane had called out the princess with his Inquisitor, then both of them would have known that the other player did not have it, which would be interesting. But since he didn't do that, both of them were kind of blissfully, basically unknown to both of them.
I wouldn't call that bliss. I could see them writhing in anxiety dealing with all of that. But that's still an important point for Shane. That means another 3-point hand, and he is victorious tonight. So that 4th point is very important because it does put him within one hand's reach of a victory. So let's see if the cards are a little kinder on the deal to Junoballs. Let's take a look at his hand. So zooming on in here, this is likely a stronger hand. It has the Assassin, the Queen, the Mystic, and both Oathbounds. Sina, your take?
Oh, this is a tough one still. I mean, it's not terrible. It wasn't like as bad as last hand, which he was able to pull out a 1 point, but it does have at least some breath of life. It has the Mystic, and he might know that Shane has both 8s. We don't know, actually. I haven't checked yet. He has the Assassin, which is a nice hold card just to like pressure, especially if he decides to go first. And he's got both Oathbounds to kind of help him along the way. So you can at least make this a 2-point loss, not a 3-point one if he plays it correctly.
Got it. And zooming across the table to see what ended up in Shane's hand. If it'll let me do that. There we go.
Not allowed.
So there's
Only
the
1/8.
Yeah, only 1/8. So one of them must have been burned. We'll see if it's face up or face down. The princess, the warlord, and both elders. Interesting.
It's definitely a really interesting hand. He's got both elders, but he doesn't need both elders per se. He's got the fool, so you can pull a card back if Junoballs flips his king. Neither of them know that the king's hand is up. I don't know what the board state is. But if seriously, if the king's hand is burned, that's like the most burned card. It's been 5 across all of our tournament, just face down. He's got the 7 and 9, so he's got 7, 8, 9. I think this is a stronger hand, but it just really depends on how people play it. Especially if Shane gets to go first, he's gonna have a really powerful start. So hopefully Junoballs will take the lead here and lead off with a card rather than because of the judge and inquisitor.
It's a big decision. All right, looking at what got burned. So the face up burn is going to be the king's hand.
Okay.
And the face down is the soldier.
Okay.
So
that's gonna give a little bit more confidence to Junoballs and probably help him use the mystic for something else potentially.
That's right. When you feel like you have a weak hand, it's strengthened if one of the burn cards was a strong card, because that means your opponent doesn't have as strong a hand either. And so, yeah, knowing the king's hand is out of play will help. I would agree that he probably does want to go first.
I think they're deciding who's going to go first.
Have fun. Go first.
He's gonna let Shane go first.
You're a fun
A little
kid.
bit of goading there too.
Treat yourself.
All right. Well, Shane tossed his card down. Not a surprise. It's an elder. There's very little reason to keep 2 elders in your hand if you have a royalty card.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Both players have a lot to think about in this hand.
So yeah, this is where an opening gambit can be huge.
Correct. If Shane can guess what's in Junoballs' hand, then he's got a really powerful start. And I know that Shane's going to probably use that Judge Inquisitor combo that I was talking about earlier in the game, where he was making fun of the Judge for being useless. But one of the benefits is you can Judge, ask if they have the Assassin. If so, then you can play your Inquisitor as your next card no matter what and get that Assassin out of their hand. Otherwise, it's just a 5, and a 5 is way more powerful because they can't play their own Inquisitor on top of it.
So looking at the burns. So burn soldier from Junoballs, not a big surprise. Elder went down for Shane.
Hang on.
Zealot successor for Junoballs. I am a little surprised he's not protecting his assassin here, because this would seem to be the kind of hand where maybe the assassin is your way out, and you don't want it inquisited away.
That's a warlord, I believe, that he put down?
It is.
Okay. All right, well, let's see if he does it. Okay, a little bit of chat going on.
Is that right? Is that what I want to do?
You're absolutely right, Johnny. There's something very satisfying about a Judge to Inquisitor start. It feels like you're really driving things the direction you want to go with a start like that, and Shane has the opportunity to do that here. Let's see if he does it.
He knows I'm going to rib him hard if he doesn't do it. He's going to be watching this video and studying the tape, so... Come on, Shane. I'm just kidding. Both openings are kind of valid. What is he? Oh, he is changing his successor card.
Swapped the warlord out for the other elder.
Going to be
Interesting.
A little dangerous, knowing you don't have the assassin to do that.
He goes with Inquisitor first.
Have you the assassin?
Have you the assassin?
And that's the risk if you don't protect it.
You better play that sucker then.
No, I'm going to put it in my antechamber.
Okay. Well, now it's your turn.
All right, now I'm going to play it.
Following the rules, as always.
Excuse me, sir.
That's the risk. That's why sometimes you do want to protect the assassin by keeping it face down. Now I feel like Junoballs' path to victory just got a lot harder, but I wouldn't say it's over.
That's what I need.
There's not really good mystic targets for
It's a really
Junoballs
ripping
either,
piano solo.
which is kind of difficult too. Maybe even the Fool, or maybe just playing as a casual 7, as we like to call it, when you don't use the ability.
I'm playing the judge.
All right, here comes the Judge.
I will guess a card name in your hand. And if I do, I get to play another card, but I will not. But I will guess. Do you have the Mystic?
I do have the Mystic, yes.
Okay, so choosing to gather information from Junoballs' hand, but not actually using the
So
ability,
that's it,
which
it's my
would have
turn.
had him put a card into his antechamber,
Very
which means
well.
he's guaranteed to play it next turn. It has to be a card that's a value of 2 or higher, so he couldn't have done it with the Fool, but could have done anything. He has high cards in his hand, so that's the reason why he probably didn't elect to play it to his antechamber. Fun fact. Yeah, Shane has the ability to play his sentry there and swap the Fool for the assassin, thus putting the assassin in his hand, having the assassin go from Juno's hand to the court and back to his hand.
Always deflating to lose that way.
And this isn't going to be a full value blow up, but I'm going to use it on the number 8.
Oof.
So we went
believe-
after...
There has to be a disgraced card in the court.
Oh, but there's no disgrace cards in the court.
Text before I do this, huh?
Wow,
It helps.
rules.txt over here from Shane. He got that one pretty fast, which is you have to have a disgrace card in the court before you can play the Mystic.
So
Unfortunate for him. I love the idea, but it wasn't going to work there.
with Junoballs' hand, he does have a strong hand if he wanted to run back to another 1-point loss. Between having 2 Oathbounds, the Zealot as his successor, I would like his chances to escape here with another 1-point loss, but eventually you are going to have to win some hands if you want to take it home. It's very scary being down 5-0 because then you really are on the precipice.
Oh, I actually don't dislike this this idea to play. Oh, never mind. I was going to say if you played the Queen right now, that would get rid of all the things in the court.
What to do next.
Force Shane to make a decision on whether he needs to play the Princess or not. I don't know. I mean, this is a tough situation he's in. He could play a business casual 6, which is just playing a 6 without its ability.
This is thrilling radio for the viewers.
They're loving it.
Loving
Sina and
every
Dan are
second.
they're really chewing up some air right now.
Well, I mean, you got to give Joe Buck some time to reminisce.
That's exactly right. So whenever we hear them talking, we like to stop and see what they're thinking. In this case, they're thinking about us, which is super nice.
Yes, Johnny's asking, did Shane not play a card with the judge? That's correct. You don't have to. You can use its card guessing ability without having to play a subsequent card to your antechamber just to get the information. So Junoballs is in a pickle here. And I think he right now is making the decision about how aggressive he wants to be to try to win this.
Why do I always do that? Oh my god, I'm falling apart.
Flipping card a little
Cracking under
early.
the pressure.
So he flips his
My
king.
whole plan, bud.
It actually gets rid of
Jesus,
Shane's
I was having a lovely
Shane's
day
plan,
till
which
I
I'm
decided to play
assuming
this
was
game.
to get the assassin.
Well, he can still pick up the assassin with the Fool.
It can be pretty.
Sure, but it has no value anymore because Junoballs already flipped his king.
Oh, of course, you're right.
But now Junoballs is in a really scary spot here. He's got to make sure that he keeps his queen until the princess is played or sacrifice cards in his hand. So you're right. He can definitely use the Oathbound to his advantage to kind of burn down his hand if he wants to go for just a 1-point loss.
This is a
Yeah,
quick.
I mean, I don't dislike that play because now if he knows if Shane does have the Fool, what is he going to pick up? An Inquisitor, an Assassin? Doesn't really matter. Those aren't some high value cards right now.
What is
So
potentially a stupid play? I'm going to play this sentry. I'm going to use its ability to disgrace it. I'm going to take the assassin into my hand.
Interesting. He does
Why
have
am I
to
doing that?
trade a card.
That's actually terrible. Can I redo that?
I don't know.
All right, let's just live with
can
it.
redo.
Let's just live with
it's an exchange.
Hang on, we gotta.
For some reason, I thought your king wasn't flipped, even though you
Can
just flipped
redo.
it. Can redo.
Yeah, I mean that would be a disastrous move there because the assassin has
Yeah,
no
you would've
value
swapped that for a card.
because
right, that's
Junoballs
right.
has already flipped his king.
It might have just turned on some kind of Discord speech to text. We'll find out.
It could have been.
I will.
It could have
I
been
will just play this as a straight 8.
Straight
the-
8. Roger that.
biggest brain move if he had taken the assassin there just for show, just to be like, you know what, I have this game so far in the bag that I might as well just take the assassin. Does that sound familiar, Dan?
It does, Sina. I remember that.
Sorry.
I think I won that hand, or at least I got out of the jam, if I recall.
I'll send you the
Good
VOD.
timing.
All
to
right.
Just use this little guy that you.
I'm not gonna
already know
watch
I
it.
have.
That is a good time.
So there you go. He plays a Zealot, which beats anything as long as
That's a
your
very
flip
good time.
king is flipped, except for royalty. So there's not Sentry's not royalty. He can play that 3. So he's now nullified the 8. He's actually close to maybe even actually clinching a victory here. All he's got to do is hold out, make sure that he cannot play his Fool, which I don't think he can anymore. Oh, but you know what? The Princess can swap the Fool.
It's true. So the Fool, again, can't be played unless there's a disgraced card on top of the court. There aren't any cards left in Junoballs' hand that will either disgrace themselves or disgrace what is on the court. He's flipped his king. He doesn't have a sentry or anything like that. So that means the Fool is stuck there, especially because Shane does not have an Oathbound to combo it with. So that's now a very low value card for him, a black hole, actually. But he can ditch it right now.
You want
I will
to,
not use her
not
ability.
something that you don't want to swap, though. So he decided not to use the ability, because if he gave the Fool to Junoballs and Junoballs has 2 Oathbounds, that's 2 potential Oathbound combos. So now Junoballs either has to use an Oathbound, or he has to use his queen here.
Now, Junoballs knows there's an unaccounted for Elder out there.
Correct.
The Elder is Shane's successor, so he can't play it. Of course, Junoballs does not know that. But you don't want to just give up your queen to get Eldered away here.
Correct. And actually, he has all the tools to kill that Elder. He's got the Mystic. He has the Inquisitor.
I am
He has a way to win this.
going to play an Oathbound on your princess.
Okay.
I'm going to use his ability to disgrace that card. Oop.
Okay.
And then I must play another card of any value. I'm going to play a card with the value 7. I think I'm doing this right.
He sure is.
I think so.
The play is valid. He doesn't have to announce the number. He can just play the card. And there it
I'm
is.
going to say the number 3.
Oh, and so he is using it for the
That is a
Elder
big
there.
Yikes.
There's a big yikes that comes out of Shane. He's not out of it quite
Then
yet.
she is disgraced, and you have an open board.
Yeah, now he's got to use that Fool to pick up the sentry, no doubt.
Yep.
I am going to play the Fool.
Oh no, I
Alright.
think.
Oh, do you want to redo that? Sorry, if I played too fast.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Play the Fool, and I'll take back this sentry.
Lots of
Ooh,
respect
nice.
between the players here, allowing each other to kind of take back moves. It's a gentleman's game, played by ruffians. But still a
Everybody plays the Fool.
Sorry, I had to stop there for that singing.
So again, Junoballs definitely has a path to a 1-point loss. Well, maybe not, actually. I'm not sure if Shane would have to flip his king.
Fool. The Fool is going to screw me over here.
It always does, Junoballs.
So now you got some firepower there, bud.
So at this point, Junoballs doesn't know what he has alongside that sentry. It could be the Elder, or it could be the Warlord, most likely.
And or a soldier, because that's the burn card.
That's right.
He can force him to play that sentry. I mean, he can force him to play. So he can force a 1-point hand, 1-point loss here. He can do Inquisitor into Sentry into Oathbound. Oh well, actually, sorry. He would want to actually do it to the Warlord, because the Sentry could disgrace itself. So what he would do is he would Inquisit into the Warlord and then Oathbound into the Queen, and then he would have no cards left in his hand, which means that he would only lose with 1 point potentially. Because then Shane would have to flip his king.
I don't think that is how... So if he Inquisits into the Warlord, and then Oathbounds into his Queen... Oh, that's right, because the Queen would be a 9. That's
I'm
right.
going to play my Inquisitor.
Mm-hmm.
4 on a 1. And I'm going to say...
Man, this game has been back and forth.
He's got to take the sure thing here, right? He knows the sentry's in his hand.
Yeah, the issue with the sentry is that
I am going to
Shane can disgrace
say
it.
that's sentry.
Okay, so he takes the sure bet.
Goes to the antechamber and gets played on my turn. And I'm just going to play it as a straight 8.
Okay.
Dang. It's a smart play.
He has 2 options here. There's the take the 1 point. He has to do the Oathbound into Queen.
Nope, it's going right for it. But this will
still gonna, yeah, this will still work.
Yeah, it'll still work out for him. Yeah, because
big queen.
Yeah.
And Shane's gonna win by the skin of his teeth here because he's gonna flip his king, get his elder. He's gonna play the 6. Shane's gonna play the 7. If he had anything less than a 7, he would have lost here.
My king here.
Woo.
Now,
so Junoballs is outplaying the commentators here because that was
one
actually
card
a better
left.
play. Just in case. But he does have that 7.
Fuck.
Oop, family-friendly stream.
Yeah, it's a good
Gotta
card.
bleep that out in post.
That's one of Sina's favorite cards.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking about it all the time when it's not in my hand because it has definitely fucked me over many a time.
Yeah, totally.
They're killing me with these.
All right, so I get 1 point for that.
Yep.
So an intense hand there.
And GG go re.
GG go re.
Oh, I wanted to see what the burn card was. Oh well.
Oh shoot! Wait, we can go back.
It's not a
Sina.
big deal. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
I believe Dan could back us up if he wanted to.
It was a soldier.
Oh, okay.
Boring.
Boring, he says. I wonder what they said my favorite card was. I didn't hear what they said. But anywho, all right, so they're going to go ahead and get ready for the next hand.
Boat race.
So while they're getting ready for that, so thoughts on the previous hand, Sina?
That was interesting. I think that at one point Shane could have really taken advantage there, but I think he played a little cautiously. But slow and steady wins the race. I mean, he's got 5 points. Juno's got 0, so he can afford doing those types of things. So,
I'm gonna Google this.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think that was a easy 1 point. Could have been a 3 point. I think Junoballs did a really good job of holding on to and playing for the points here, because he could have easily lost 2 or 3 points there and even lost the game here, the match.
Yeah, that hand could very easily have lost him the match. So excellent job to wriggle out of that with just a 1 point loss. There were times where he might have been able to win that. I do agree with some of the chat that, using his Mystic to try to go after the Elder for the win and exposing that to a full play put him in a precarious position again. But I think I would breathe a sigh of relief with the 1 point loss there. He has kept his mulligan, which is good, but he's also got himself a pretty deep pit. Fortunately, it looks like the cards are smiling on him this time around, judging from the 2 hands we see. So let's take a look at the burn cards first. Face up is the soldier, which means face down is the princess again.
Oh my gosh.
And let's take a look at Junoballs' hand to start. So, taking a look, again, he did get the 1 royalty card that is not burned, not to the knowledge of either of them, and the Sentry, Warlord, Oathbound full combo, and the Assassin. Sina, thoughts?
Oh my gosh, this is a killer hand. If Shane does not mulligan, then I think Juno's going to have a chance to get back into this game.
Great. Speaking of Shane's hand, let's take a look. And like weak hands, it spends a lot of time in the middle. Usually you want cards that are at least on the edges of the numerical spectrum. This is pretty stuck in the center. What do you think, Sina?
That nice blue hue lets you know that you have a bad hand usually. This is not terrible if he gets to go first, which, I think if he goes first, he can at least double Inquisitor and try to get some stuff, but it's not a great hand. I would definitely mulligan this, I think.
All right, let's see what they do. Zooming out. Let's see if Shane decides to play.
Rotate your king.
Okay.
Thank you.
Looks like he's electing Shane to go first.
Discard and successor.
And I agree with that move on Junoballs' part. When you have a superior hand that's superior in that way, it's usually good to let your opponent have to try to lead off with their weaker hand so that you can react and pressure them. That's at least a perspective that works sometimes. All right, looking at the burns while Shane works on his successor, it looks like the assassin is Junoballs' successor here. He decided to protect it. He burned in Oathbound. Over on Shane's side, he burned an Inquisitor, one of the two he had.
Interesting. I thought Shane was going to do a double Inquisitor combo where he would guess for something that's a sure bet, maybe an Elder, and then play the other Inquisitor to guess something else. But maybe now he's going to surprise us, wow us with this Judge Inquisitor combo.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I would be tempted if I had his hand.
I probably should have mulled, but I'm kind of interested to see what happens.
There we go.
There it is.
From straight from him.
Zealot the face down, sturdy play.
On and got a 3-point loss, so here's hoping.
Whoops. This is interesting.
Yeah.
He kept the soldier, which I know he hates the soldier, so I'm really interested why he kept the soldier here.
Yeah, I would have been
start with it too.
Soldier.
He wants to pressure him to play fast. I'm not 100%
I will
sure.
guess that you have.
Oh, I hope
the
he says the princess. Oh,
protecting the assassin.
Okay.
So he's keeping the Inquisitor so that way he can use it to, if Junoballs ever flips his king, he can always just throw out the Inquisitor to get rid of the assassin if he suspects that he has it. That's smart. That's kind of also the same concept with the Judge Inquisitor combo.
So for me, I would have been tempted with a dual Inquisitor hand to start Inquisit Fool and then Inquisit Assassin as a way of...
Huh?
Yeah, but here, so it is true. He has confirmed that either... Well, actually, I mean, the Assassin could be any of those three face-down cards. It could have been the face-down burn. It's possible Junoballs might have chucked it, and that does happen sometimes, or it could be a successor. In this case, it is. He does know that Junoballs didn't protect it last hand, and I noticed people tend to protect the Assassin the next hand if it got rooted out right at the beginning of the previous one. It's just the human psychology thing there.
Yep.
I'm gonna...
Oh, is he going to flip this early? I think he's really giving it away here.
Okay, yeah, when you flip like that,
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
it does telegraph it.
All right.
He also loses any potential for getting a 3-point hand.
Okay.
He loses the potential for 3-point hand, and also he knows that Shane had at least one Inquisitor come across his hand. And
Shane, give me that Judge Inquisitor combo. He's going straight for the Inquisitor. He doesn't believe. It's okay. I'll make him a believer someday. Who knows? I mean, like, this is the beauty of the game, is that everyone has different styles, and it could be that my style is actually wrong, which is actually the brilliant part about it, is that the Judge Inquisitor may not be the right thing to do here, saving the Judge for something else potentially. And so this is, he's hovering over that Inquisitor. And here it comes.
Hey, the Assassin.
yep, there it is. So
Always a pleasure.
that's the
Feels good when that
danger.
happens.
I mean, if you flip with impunity like that so early on, you really do telegraph that the assassin was your successor.
Yeah.
What am I doing though?
He does. So, I mean, he had the Inquisitor. He had the Judge Inquisitor. He also had the Mystic and King's Hand, so he could have safely done that as well. Because he knew he had both of those things. But sometimes if you use the Judge too early and you do that, then the other player can kill it before it can come to fruition and stop the assassin. So he had plenty of ways to actually deal with the assassin if he wanted to.
So one thing to remember here is that neither of these players knows the princess is the face down burn card. As far as Shane knows, Junoballs might have both royalty cards.
Wow.
That is a big play.
So there goes the king's hand, trying to put some numbers pressure on Junoballs there.
Okay.
If I was to guess, maybe he's trying to set up for...
I'm going to play a sentry on top of that.
Hold on. Is he going to take the assassin? That would put a lot of pressure
I'm
on.
going to disgrace
Here it is.
Uh-oh. This is not
I'm going
good.
to take the assassin back.
Taking it back.
Yikes.
Probably going to chuck that elder, I'm going to guess.
You have to exchange a card, I believe.
I do.
Be either the elder or the fool.
Yeah. Either works. Well, I mean, he doesn't know about the princess thing, so maybe he's hesitating on the altar there. He does the fool. Okay, that's a fine play. And now there's a lot of pressure now riding on Shane here. He still has the Mystic, which is his eject card. He can use that Mystic to cancel out all the number 2.
I think he has to. If he wants to avoid getting a 2-point loss here, he's got to play it now.
And that's the only reason why I would have exchanged the Elder rather than the Fool, because you know that he has to do this, and you know that you would have had an open board.
To disgrace this. And call out the number 2.
All right.
So the Assassin has really dominated play for this hand so far. Everything has revolved around it. But its time is over now. It's worth pointing out that at this point, Junoballs is still in a strong position, but it's not unimpeachable. There is a combination of plays that might, well, actually, I'm looking at what Shane has. Shane has no numerical pressure left whatsoever. His 4 plays are King Flip, Elder, Zealot, and Judge. So, again, ideally for him, the idea would be to wriggle out to a 1-point loss.
You know what I'm hoping for, right?
Bold move.
I'm hoping for him to use that Judge to get... I'm hoping to use that Judge to get that 1-point hand. Then I can hold it over him forever. That's one of the things that the Judge can do, is it can force a 1-point hand, because if you play it on the second to last card and you guess correctly, you put your last card as your antechamber, and no matter what, that card gets played. So let's see what he decides to do here. This is a tough place to be. He can flip his king, he can play the 3, which would then leave him susceptible to the queen. He does not know that Junoballs does not have the queen, so you might be thinking about saving both, and that's probably why he's going to play the Judge here.
Yeah, Judge definitely coming out. He's got to play assuming Junoballs has 2 royalty cards.
Do you have the Oathbound?
I do have an Oathbound, yes.
Bit surprised by
You can
that.
play a card to your antechamber with a value of 2 or more.
I'm surprised you guessed Oathbound there. He really... I mean, knowing he has an Oathbound, I don't think gets him a lot of interesting information. That's a conservative play to play a card. That was not to gain information. That was just to make sure you got something.
Dan,
So
can
that
you check Shane's face down card here?
it's
I
a
wonder what
Zealot.
he's- Okay, so dangerous, because he knows that he has to have at least 1 royalty card unless he chucked it, which is very rare. So it is a Zealot that Shane has face down.
So I think Shane is playing his way to a 1-point loss. I think he saw this as the pathway to get there. And the only way Junoballs is going to resist that is by making sure
I'm going to play...
he uses the
Oathbound
queen
as
at the
a
right
straight
time.
6.
Okay.
And I think that's what he's doing. Okay, that's... Okay, he's playing
He's playing the right way.
right way. That's right. So he has to
Play for
flip
the 2
there.
points. So as long as he plays his queen, it's a 2-point hand. Otherwise, it's a 1-point hand.
Oh, no!
It's just a 7.
Makes the wrong play, loses himself a point.
Unfortunate.
So the princess got burned.
Immediately go check
So
it
that's
out.
1 point for you.
Hot dog
Hot
You're on
dog
the board,
indeed.
baby.
on the board. Everything's turning up Junoballs.
Still satisfied with that point, though, which is great.
If you had played your queen instead of that warlord, I would have been. You would have gotten 2 points. You would have stranded me with that card.
So
in my
can
hand.
you put royalty in the successor slot?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
So Johnny and Dot Sam are pointing out that if Junoballs had maybe taken a little more time to think through that, he probably would have hit on the fact their extra point was on offer and that the Zealot was likely Shane's successor card. So a painful play there, but still he walks away with a point. I'd say very good work by Shane there to hold the damage to 1 point because that was a very weak hand, a very mulliganable hand he started with. So 1 point loss is a victory given how that started out.
Yeah, this is quite the slugfest here. I don't think I've seen so many 1-point hands, which usually means that the play is really close. So Let's see what they have to say.
Oh, nice.
Sweet 70s production zones.
And it's true. It's not. These have not been 1-point games because of conservative play. These have been 1-point games because of very close, hard-fought play. Definitely. All right. Well, a lot of pressure so far. Junoballs still in a tough spot, down 5-1. Now Shane has got the true king and will get to decide initiative for this one. Let's see what they want to do.
Yep, I think they are either fiddling with their music or whatnot, but they'll be getting started here pretty soon here.
So this is a good time to engage with the chat a little bit. Couple of big things on this. I definitely agree. We've seen some very high-level play. I think Shane has made a lot of very skillful plays, has done an excellent job at card tracking, at knowing the rules, and then thinking through on non-intuitive combos that put a lot of pressure on Junoballs. He's definitely made the most of his opportunities. Junoballs has done a great job to parry that, and we'll see if he'll get another opportunity to press a strong hand right now. So, all right, since Shane is going to decide initiative, we'll start with his hand first. Let's take a gander. So, got the assassin, the sentry, and the queen. Interesting mix and match hand. I'd say that this is a decent hand, not dominating, certainly playable.
Yeah, I think that this is, I mean, he's got that Oathbound, which helps him out a little bit, but there's no 7s in his hand, which is kind of worrying. Did we look at what the burn card was?
We didn't. Actually, let's jump back up and take a look at the burn card here. So the face-up burn card is going to be the Warlord, and the face-down burn card, again, is the King's Hand. So 2 strong cards in the discard, which is really going to shake things up.
Jeepers.
All right, let's take a look at Junoballs' hand here. So Princess, the Mystic, and the Fool amongst the combos there, combined with an Elder as insurance against Shane's Queen.
Yep, this seems like a pretty good hand. He's got the Oathbound Fool combo. He's got the Mystic, which is a powerful 7. He's got an Elder in case he wants to use that. He can throw away one of his soldiers. Not a bad hand. I think this is going to be a pretty equal hand, so I can't really predict who's going to win this one.
Yeah, I'd say this one's 50-50 coming out of the gate. Could go either way. Let's see what happens. Let's see if Shane wants to start off or not. So looking at their burn cards, Shane tossed away the Judge, and Junoballs tossed away the Soldier. Again, if you were to make a histogram of tossed away cards, I think the 5s would lead that far and away.
What was the face down again?
Face down's the King's Hand.
Well.
So who has the Zealot then? I don't see the Zealot on the board.
Zealot is a successor for
successor.
Shane.
He already successored. Okay.
So this will be interesting. So, you know, when you have 2 powerful cards as the burns, you tend to think you've got a weaker hand than you actually do, of course. It looks like, Junoballs, instead of burning the soldiers, decided to burn the Elder. Figured doesn't need the protection between the princess and his king flip. I think he's feeling secure on that. Of course, you can't count on the king flip when you don't have the assassin in your hand. It'll be interesting to see how he plays that.
For sure. Still deciding on, maybe now that he's clarified the royalty successor rule. Yeah, he's thinking about it. It's not a bad choice.
It's risky when, again, you don't have the assassin.
He does, however, have a full Oathbound to save him at least once. So he can protect himself right now by throwing out the Inquisitor.
And it looks like Shane is having Junoballs go first.
Yep.
So he's got 2 obvious starter cards, a Soldier or an Inquisitor. If you were Junoballs in this case, Sina, how would you start this play?
Well, if I'm going to put my princess as a face down, I definitely would want to get that assassin out there sooner than later. Potentially even throwing it. I mean, actually, even a 4 or 5 doesn't matter. It depends on how much pressure I think I can give the other player. And I have a 6-1 combo, so I can at least protect myself once. But, if he has the king's hand in his hand as well, that's really dangerous.
That's right. One thing you can do is you can use the soldier to get the information, but keep the Inquisitor in case, for example, Shane is using the assassin as his successor card.
The soldier here. I'm going to say the name Sentry.
Interesting.
I do have the Sentry.
Neat. That's a 7 now.
Neat.
That is a big card.
So guessing Sentry means you're not really looking for information. It means you just want it to be a 7. And that actually is a pretty good play here because there aren't that many top-end cards with the Warlord sitting there face up. So this puts strong numerical pressure on Shane's hand right at the start.
That's the other way of teasing out the assassin. If you force them to flip their king first, then you got a free Inquisitor coming your way. The only issue is that he only has 2 chances to get rid of this assassin, either the Inquisitor or the Mystic there. So Shane probably knows that and probably won't use the King's Hand. If he would probably just concede the assassin. But if he didn't have the Mystic, that would be really scary because then he can just King's Hand away the Inquisitor, and there's no way for Junoballs to get around that.
I am going to...
Johnny does point out Juno does have to assume Shane has both 8s.
And not use its ability.
He counters the the pressure with more pressure.
So
looks like he bit.
He bit. So with that pressure coming back, he is in a bind. He has to...
This is really tough.
Yeah, he has to play the Oathbound. It's the only valid play he has without just assuming death through Assassin.
Oof.
And all that's going to leave him with is that soldier to pick back up again. That's not enticing. He could...
Well played by Shane, by the way. He saw the pressure coming and also has to assume that Junoballs probably has the 8. This is going to tell him he does not have the 8, and now he is in a really dominant spot. Really smart play.
He could Oathbound into his Mystic.
Correct.
Or
his Inquisitor, whichever one he wants to do in order to pick off the 2. And in fact, I would agree with that more so than probably the Mystic, honestly, to keep it safe, or even if he put it as a successor. I think that would be the play for me, just
this
because...
is the pivotal play, to be honest. This is big.
Shane. I mean, I think he's honestly believing that, but at the same time saying that to your opponent while they're trying to make this pivotal play is kind of tough, because now they both know they're in a really tough position here. Lots of options to go through.
Yes, it is an intriguing play here. Juno's not out of this yet because he still has the Fool there, and he still has a way to play the Fool, even using up his Oathbound, which is on Shane's King Flip.
Yeah, the big problem, however, is that Queen. If Shane drops the Queen, it gets rid of all the things the Fool can take.
Except for the Queen herself.
Except for the
that Sentry.
He's going to have to flip on the Queen.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he's out of options. You're right.
He's out of options. So this is... Oh, he's going to Inquisitor route.
And name the assassin.
So he's going to draw the assassin out.
Pretty good.
If Shane had that for his successor, that would have been game over for Junoballs. Ballsy play.
Okay.
Pretty good.
He's giving him the Revolver Ocelot. You're pretty good.
Interesting roads from here. Now, Junoballs looks like he's in a worse position than he is, because remember, he has the princess tucked away as his successor. And again, it might be possible for him to scurry away for a 1-point loss here. He has just enough space for that.
Sure does. What was his successor again?
It's the princess.
Oh, yeah. Risky princess maneuvers.
So I'm thinking, Johnny Go just mentioned you play the business casual 7 here. I would agree with that play. Play the 7, force out the Queen, flip your King, And, with your princess, you can then potentially squeeze out his king flip and pick your princess, or pick a strong card back up.
Juno does not know that he does not have a king's hand, though. That's the only problem with playing with 7.
I'm going to name the king's hand.
Oh, there, he just checked it right now.
I do not have the king's hand.
Oof, and gave the information over to Shane with that.
For real.
Huh.
For real, I don't have it, he says. This is Shane's game to win, I think, now.
Oh, well, what's painful about that, I don't think he cared about the information. I think he just wanted that to be a 7.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree. That is really tough. Now you can play business
I'm going
casual
to
6.
play the Oathbound. I'm not going to use this ability.
He does have a choice. Tough hand.
I'm going to play the Mystic. I am going to use her ability.
Interesting.
I'm going to choose the number 3.
Wow.
Oh,
this is big.
Well, that takes the Zealot and
Yikes.
the Elder out.
Yes.
It's a big yikes.
Oh, he either, yeah, I mean, this is really big. I mean, he does not have the perfect information we have, but the right thing is really tough for him to kind of grok right now, because if I'm Shane, I'm thinking I got the queen, he's got the fool, get rid of all those cards, he can't use the fool, but then I have a secret princess hiding away.
So it's 5-1 right now. So Shane does need a 2-point win to put this away. And
I agree wholeheartedly.
It is possible for Junoballs to wriggle out of this again. What is going to happen... Now, remember that face-down card is the princess, which means that Junoballs can play the princess and trade that fairly useless at this point fool for anything that's better than that.
But actually thinking through all the lines, Junoballs got this in the bag. Even if Shane plays 4s and 3s, at the end of the day, Junoballs can swap the fool for anything and win, because the only thing that Shane can do to combat the princess is the queen.
Which would be amazing, because as we talked about before, 1-point hands tend to be the exception, not the rule. So to have this many 1-point hands again shows a lot of tenacious play.
The princess.
It's a good, I mean, that's pretty much what you have to do.
Negative Ghost Rider.
It's the right move.
Yep, it sure is.
But it just didn't pay off.
Much shittier card than that.
So, I believe, yeah, so Johnny Go, you have the right idea, but the problem is that now he's going to flip, take the princess. Next turn, he can play the princess and swap and take whatever card Shane has in his hand and make it so he wins. So,
and it's going to be the queen.
Right. Yep. This is the power of the princess.
I messed this up earlier.
You are fine, Junoballs. You just have to play it through.
Oh wait, maybe I didn't.
Oh, he's just got to do him.
He's got to do you.
He sometimes you just got to do you in this game.
Okay, so I'm gonna play this. Choose to swap.
Shade realizing what's happening.
There it is. Here comes the exchange. I wonder what Shane's going to have to give up. Of course, he's only got one choice. He's got one card in his hand. It is the card.
Oh, I didn't realize that Shane still hasn't flipped his king. I forgot about that. So it is actually still going to be points to Shane. I thought for a second.
Well, no. He'll have to flip his king now. Because he can't play the fool on the princess.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Contagious laugh.
Yeah, you did not screw that up.
So she gets disgraced, right?
Yeah.
And then it's my turn.
Oh, he's gonna win this hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, he sure is.
Oh my gosh, a 2-point win to Junoballs.
And I got nothing.
Giving the,
Okay, so
the
that's
fans what they want.
Sweet
It's a
diggity.
2-pointer
All right,
for
we
you.
got to see some emotes in the chat. I want to see
Um,
your pog champs. Give me
I think
give
it's
me
a
your
one-pointer
Bible thumbs.
'cause
Give me
my
everything you
kings-
got, folks.
Oh wait, you
Bible
have cards
thumbs.
in your hand.
Bible
I
thumbs for
had
sure.
2 cards in hand, so
Right,
I think you
yes.
get 1 point for that and 1 for winning.
And then yeah, all right.
Yikes! Good.
How did he wriggle out of that?
Boy, that was a satisfying swap right there. But
Oh my gosh.
It feels bad. The princess is so
That was the
powerful, and you
dagger.
know we were saying he put it as a successor. That might not be the right thing to do, but then it comes out at the end like that, and wow.
Well, that's it. He kept his powder dry. You remember that the first half of this hand was dominated by the assassin, by counterplay for the assassin, trying to root out the assassin, needing to survive the assassin. And he did. He did what he needed to get through that, to draw the assassin out and to neutralize it. And that kept his princess around long enough to make the critical swap at the critical time. And, you know, Shane did what he needed to do. He used the Inquisitor to find the princess when the time came. It wasn't there. Tough, tough hand. Woo! Well, I'm wrung out, but there's still a lot of action potentially tonight. It's only 5-3. Shane, Junoballs mounting a comeback. He accidentally, well, they'll redraw that.
This is mind games right here. Oh, I accidentally just drew 1 card. Junoballs is so good at that. Oh my gosh, look at that monster of a hand on the left side there.
Oh, boy. All right, let's see the burners.
I'm gonna mulligan
Oh,
this.
one of them is the
Okay.
assassin, however. Let's see what it is.
Junoballs has already said he's mulliganing. He's already tossed it in.
You didn't even look to see what it was.
That's my 1 free mulligan.
Well, you know, you see those mulligans for the right time. I'd say that was a pretty good choice. Except,
Well-
as is rules for mulligans,
I'll
you
be back
typically
this
get a
one.
worse hand than the one you mulliganed after you burn it. And it looks like that might be the case here. The
Not too bad.
burn cards, the Sentry face up, and the face down card again is royalty. It's the Queen this time. All right, well, the first player king this time again is Shane. Let's take a look at his hand. So, a Princess, King's Hand, Warlord, neither the Assassin nor the Fool, but still a very capable hand.
It's a capable hand. He's got the 9-7, 9-8-7. He knows that one of the 8s is gone. So we'll see what he can do with this one. It's a positive hand for sure. Not something that I would say he can instantly win on, but it's a good hand.
Looking across the
I
table.
wonder who's gonna make go first is the real question. That's kind of one of the more important parts of this game. It's determining who goes first and what you're going to get rid of.
That's exactly right. Junoballs doesn't have a strong top end of this hand by any means, even with the 8 burned face up, but he's got the specialty cards, so those will be interesting as a form of counterplay.
You know, he's got the Oathbound Fool combo, he's got the Assassin, yeah, he's got the specialty cards, and I think the Queen is burned. Is that true?
The Queen is burned face down.
Wow. Okay, so this looks a lot worse than it actually is. Than for Junoballs, he thinks that he's probably going to be in a lot of trouble, but we'll see.
Yeah,
I
this
would have really liked it. I would have really liked it if Junoballs waited to see the burn card in the last game, because I think that would have helped him a little bit. But he's already burned, or he's already mulliganed, and it probably would have been a mulligan anyways. But you know, this is a tough hand. I think he's gonna have to
You
play
get to
pretty
choose
defensively.
who goes first, correct?
This is winnable. I think he could definitely win with this hand. I know because I've had the other hand that Shane has now, and I've lost with it. So we'll see how it turns out. Let's give him the signal and see what they do.
I'm actually gonna change successor.
So again, it's Shane's decision as to who gets initiative, having lost the last hand. It'll be interesting to see if he wants to go first or not. Knowing, and typically, if you have better top hand or top end, sometimes it makes sense to let the other player play and react, but we'll see.
He's still maybe thinking about it. Oh, I guess Juno's going first.
Juno is going first. Okay. Shane's picked his successor. That's the Warlord. Burn card's the Judge.
Not playing with the Judge this time.
Junoballs has the Elder as his successor.
Mm-hmm. Interesting choice, not knowing that that Shay could have both 9s. Maybe he's just playing with the thought that maybe he doesn't have both 9s.
and Soldier of the Burn. That is a gutsy call.
He is gutsy right now, and I love it.
Well, you know, one thing is, since he has both the Fool and the Assassin, having the Elder as your successor is actually pretty safe play. You don't have to worry about a king flip really hurting you here because you have all the cards that hurt you after a king flip.
It's true. He does have the Assassin as well.
Yep, roger that.
Yeah, if I was Juno, I would be trying to fish out some of those cards. King's Hand is a great one to start with. Getting rid of maybe the Oathbound. Who knows? We'll see what he goes with. First off, I have to reiterate, throw back to the first game.
I started out with an Inquisitor.
Where he inquisited an assassin when he had it in his hand. I love that. Not great this time, though. He doesn't have a powering hand.
And
I am going to name the princess.
Bang.
Wait for it.
Pulling out that 9 early, which is a surprising move when you've tucked your Elder away. Yeah. He's going to have to flip his king here or play the Oathbound.
that ability.
I don't dislike this. I, in fact, really like this. He's already on his way to crippling Shane's hand.
Yeah, he's drawn out the pain card there. And again, Junoballs has to assume that Shane's got both royalty cards. So he knows he's got to counteract 2 royalty cards, or suspects he will. So he does the king flip here and then has the Elder in reserve.
Yeah, these matches have just been intense.
Go ahead.
Decided not to swap, which is actually in Juno's favor. Oh no, Juno's got that 5. You can just kind of slide over.
I'm going to flip my king.
Does the king flip. Don't want to burn your Oathbound just yet.
Yep, sacrificing his 1 point, an extra point potentially, but he's got rid of the princess. Doesn't know that the queen does not exist. Likely going to do the assassin here.
Do you have the Mystic?
Oh.
Ooh.
I do have the Mystic.
Interesting to pull it now with the disgraced card out there. Junoballs could use the Mystic potentially. And it might not be a bad idea. Well, no. Normally, I don't think that Shane's got anything that would be particularly appealing.
Are you going to use its ability?
Yeah.
You know, it'd be great. I mean, if he knew that the queen wasn't there, he could have totally just burned the 3s, and then Shane would be dead in the water.
I am thinking.
Of course, that would also burn his own 3.
I'm going to use its ability.
He is. All right.
And use it on the number 8.
Oof.
So he did take out the king's hand, just as .sam suggested in the chat. Interesting. So that means at this point, Shane's hand does not have that much going on.
Has nothing to stop that assassin. I think unfortunately Shane's dead in the
3.
water.
That is indeed a 3.
He can just play him out just with cards. But again,
of course,
Junoballs
not
doesn't
knowing.
know that
Yeah.
the queen is not out there lurking.
Yep.
Now, Johnny Go makes a good point, which is, Shane just used the 8 on a disgraced card. Even though it stands in the throne as a 3, it's still an 8 to play. Probably would have made more sense to toss out, say, the Warlord in a case like this. But, yeah, decided not to.
He doesn't have the warlord in his hand.
Or sorry, not the Warlord, the Zealot.
I am going to say
This is the squeeze right here.
the Warlord.
Oh. Warlord's not a
I do
common
not have the
successor play, so it's a pretty safe guess. Didn't work out here.
It's actually more potentially in Junoballs' benefit
So
to get
that's
that.
a 5.
Sorry, no, it's not. I'm saying
Good old zealot.
he can't play that
Yeah.
Zealot.
Little move cotton.
Ooh, he's actually in...
Oh yeah.
Junoballs is in a
What's that?
Yeah.
is in a
Oh, my
bind
king must be
here.
flipped. Whoops.
Yeah, that's right. Junoballs
Glad I'm not the only one.
is in a bind because his he has no numbers.
It's a complicated game, folks. Lots
He'll
of
be
things
okay,
happening.
I think.
I'm
if
gonna
he
play
plays
this
his-
sweet 6.
He doesn't know that he's
Sweet
in the clear
six.
here, but it's very close to where Juno would have not been able to pull this one off. He wants to keep that 6.
And I'm
but
gonna
he can't.
use its ability.
He can't.
it's
Nope.
too high value card.
Because that was a 5 and 7, yeah.
Yeah.
So Juno has to play the Oathbound here. He's got no other options. And then, right, Shane's going to have to flip his king. And this is going down the wire because, yeah, you know, Junoballs has nothing
Gonna play
numerically.
Sweet 6.
And that's
I'm gonna
it.
Use the assassin.
And I'm dead. That's
Oh, I
2
can't
point
believe I
hands.
won with that hand. Yes.
2 more. I goofed. My plan was to inquisit that mystic. Except when there were no disgraced cards. Whoops.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I had an elder and a fool left.
Yeah.
See what when they find out that face
Yeah,
down
well
card.
played.
See, that hand by Junoballs probably felt terrible. And it would have been a pretty bad hand, except no
What?
queen.
Who took my king into there?
Oh, whoops.
Yeah, find
Yeah,
that
you want to
king.
give,
Where
wanna
is
give
it?
him a little bit of assistance there.
Nah, this is too much fun to watch. There we go. Okay.
Yeah.
Here, we'll... yeah, that hand probably felt terrible. It was better than it seemed, and never sleep on the specialty cards, especially with Oathbounds. They can get you through. All right, we're tied at 5,
Oh, I
which means
can't
this
believe it.
may be the last hand here. Let's take a look at our burner cards. Oh, I didn't want to flip both of them. But fortunately, only the Sentry showed up. So that's right. It's going to be the Sentry face up and the Elder face down. So a more conventional kind of burn situation.
I think.
I guess you'll go first again.
So Shane telling Junoballs to go first. Let's take a look at Junoballs' hand. Both royalty cards, very dangerous when an Elder is not in play, and the Fool.
Oh my gosh.
What do you think, Sina?
Yeah, I mean, full Oathbound combo, double 9s. Don't have any elders, however, but yeah, I mean, this is just like a powerful standard hand, I think. And he's letting Junoballs go first, so that is scary with the double Inquisitors. I'm scared to always give the other player first if I don't have any Inquisitors in my hand, unless I, have an idea of what could happen.
Well, sorry, we're looking at Junoballs' hand right now.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying, is that Junoballs now... So Shane was the one who got to choose who goes first, and he chose
right.
to let Junoballs go first, which is dangerous with double Inquisitors, but we'll see how he decides to defend against that.
That's right, and this is what Shane is going to be defending with. So he does have the Assassin, which likely will be very critical here, along with Mystic, King's Hand, Warlord, and one Elder.
Yep, he's got like a standard assortment. I think he's going to chuck the 5, put the Zealot down, or put the Assassin down, whichever one he wants. He's got some strong cards, and he's got 1 8, the other 8 is face up, and then 2 7s. So this is pretty good. He just needs to make sure he hangs on to either an Oathbound or his king to not get sweeped by the royalty.
That's exactly right. All right, so again, it's going to be Junoballs going first. Let's see what happens.
Dan, would you mulligan if you're in Shane's spot right now?
No.
5-5, free mulligan? Okay.
No, I think that hand actually
This is a
can
toughie,
win.
bud. This is...
We're not giving him the easy cards this time, that's for sure.
Because I'll say this much. Junoballs' hand has both royalty cards, but if you can get through the royalty cards, it's pretty soft. And Shane's got the Warlord to contest that with and can potentially chew through that and get to the Assassin.
Gotta be really careful about those Inquisitors. I think he might toss one of them, but I mean, he's just got so many utility cards. Real MVPs of this entire match, actually.
So, Shane threw the Zealot away. Junoballs threw a Soldier.
He threw the... Oh my goodness me.
I think Shane's going all in on the
sure
Assassin.
Is. Yeah.
Which is dangerous when you don't have any Inquisitors. He's got to face down, with 2 Inquisitors lurking, you have to successor that. We'll see. He didn't.
What did he...
Warlord. The Warlord is the successor.
He loves putting that Warlord down. You can just see how tough this is for both players.
I've got a difficult decision to make here. I don't like it one bit.
Well, I think this successor decision... Yeah, I mean, again, you've got to be concerned about the Assassin. That's the one thing that this decision is all about. So, in a case like this, given his hand, I would actually be tempted to burn the Fool, because I don't think the Fool is going to be that useful for Junoballs in this hand. I actually would potentially burn the Fool and then tuck away... he heard me.
No. My apologies to everyone here.
Oh my gosh.
Difficult time.
I can never break up that 6-1 pair. You're a braver man than me, Dan.
Boy, this is a pretty tough call. My inclination in this case would be to just tuck away the Judge. That would be my successor card, I think, here. What would you pick, Sina?
Come on.
I like what he's thinking here.
We've got some serious
putting a royalty down
going on here. Right
Oh.
It seems to have settled down.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, no, I'm a fan of royalty, but he doesn't have any. He doesn't have anything to pull them out of my hands, so I would agree with the Judge.
It
maybe.
is your turn.
I'm going to lay down the Inquisitor.
Okay.
I'm going to stay.
Perfect. That's the right play.
Sorry, it broke up on our side. What did he use the Inquisitor for?
He used it for the Elder.
Trying to draw out the Elders so that the royalty can hit their hardest. That's a good move.
Yep.
And it allows him to play his other Inquisitor, too.
Yeah.
No? All right. Guess it's your turn.
No.
He's thinking about King's handing
thinking
the Elder.
That's okay.
Of course, if he King's hands it, he has no...
He's got another Inquisitor.
Yeah, he has no reason to believe the second one won't come out.
I am going to...
He wants to do it so badly. I've been there before. There it is.
King's hand that.
Oh, he burns the King's hand, but...
Big whistle.
Okay.
That's not going to stop Junoballs from just
Now it's my turn, right?
trotting out another one of those Inquisitors.
He's so excited about that. It's my turn, right? He says. I think he's still concerned slightly about the Assassin.
He can try to judge out the Assassin.
It's a whole another thing.
He sure does not want to screw this up. We're at 5-5. 2-point hands are common. This could be the last game.
Yep, it's Inquisitor or Judge. That's the only real decision here. I think I would go right at the Assassin in this case, personally.
I'm going to play
Here he
the
goes.
judge. I'm going to name the assassin.
I have the assassin.
There it is.
Okay, I'm going to play a card to my antechamber.
Okay.
Boom.
He's such a caster's friend here, letting us know exactly what he's thinking, how he's playing it. The assassin judged the assassin and straight to puts the Inquisitor in the witness protection plan. And now next turn, he'll be coming up and giving his testimony. So well played by Junoballs.
Shane is in a very tough spot right now.
Tense video gaming action.
Good God.
He could. He could, oh, I was gonna say he could Mystic into, but there's no face down cards. But it would have been really funny for him to Mystic and cancel out the 4s if he really wanted to. This is the downside of not going first here.
I'm going to play the soldier. Do you have the princess?
This is it. This is that successor. Wow.
Go fish.
Brilliant play, because now he can't disgrace the judge, which means he cannot use the Mystic next turn.
And
I cannot believe
the
that.
assassin.
Does Juno just have the foresight of a god?
There you go.
Oh man, things
That
just
is
got
brutal.
Things just went from bad to worse for Shane here. Now your mind's got to be reeling, thinking, can I get out of this? Can I maybe 1 point this hand? But I don't think he's got the right cards to escape that way.
That is gonna, if I was Shane, that's gonna haunt me for the rest of my night. Just that one call out with the soldier that was so pivotal for something that you think they have to have in their hands, but he just happens to put that for his successor. We were talking about it earlier in the game. We're saying, what should he choose? Probably the judge, right? And now look at that. The judge has played perfectly. He hid one of the royalty away, and he bamboozled Shane's ability to guess the right card. This is just immaculate play.
Oh, you got to feel for Shane right now, but he's not out of it. This is not over. He does, if he can get through those 2 royalty cards, he might have a path to the finish line.
Correct. He can play for a 1 point card hand here. Let's see what he does here.
If I were him, I might actually invoke the Mystic to wipe the Fool out.
I am going to play that as a 7.
Just a straight 7.
7. That's going to force one of the royalty cards out, unless Junoballs decides to use his Oathbound, which would be, I think, here kind of a weird play.
It'd be the Oathbound full combo, probably, meaning that he'll pull either one of the Inquisitors or the judge or the soldier.
Now, it is a meaningful question here about which royalty card to play now, if it is a royalty card. Because the Queen denudes your Fool usage, although you want to get it out of the way early so maybe something good comes later. The Princess and its trading ability, if you can hold on to it, can win you the game at the end.
Yeah, the other thing to think about is the Warlord is Shane's successor. So if you play the Queen early, then there might be a chance that... No, I don't think if he does the Princess into Elder, then he'll have a royalty in the court, which would mean that his Warlord's more powerful. Man, these games where literally every single card is available to play except for the Fool here for Junoballs, it's just going to get through really tough. There's so many decisions to make here with only 3 cards. Not patting myself on the old back here for making a game that's so complicated, but jeepers, there's a lot of decision making here.
I think Shane might be able to wriggle out of this.
Confused.
That sounds really powerful.
Yeah, I said earlier that I didn't think he had the hands to get there, but actually, with the Elder for the 2 royalty cards, with that Warlord, with an unflipped king...
I'm going to play this Oathbound on top of your Mystic. Disgrace it. Then I may play another card of any value, which is my Fool. And I'm gonna steal this here Inquisitor.
all right.
Interesting. To go for the Inquisitor. which could combo or be played after. Shane's going to be doing an Elder play at some point. And that might mean Junoballs can Inquisit in such a way as to win the game right there. If he can nail the guess.
He's going for the throat here. He's going for the kill.
That is a 6.
Now he's going to force one of the...
Throwing 6 is not there, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if he plays the princess right now, he does the swap.
Play the princess, force the trade. That could be it.
Well, Shane would then have to flip his king, and then there'd be the queen, and then following up with that. So
well, but if Junoballs plays the princess and forces a trade, then Shane would have to give up his elder.
Yep. Yeah, and then he would have the elder, or he would have the inquisitor. He would have to flip his king, and then Junoballs could just follow it up with another 9, and it's over.
That's right. So that would be a winning play right now for Junoballs. Princess and force a trade, but he doesn't know what Shane has.
Again, this is so easy for us to call it up here. I mean, there's still a face down burned elder, so it could be double elders that he's facing up against. It's really tough for him to kind of assess it at this situation, and so this is crazy. I mean, if Shane could pull this off,
it's gonna work.
Then it's gonna be magical. We'll have go even further.
So
yeah, I'm gonna play my princess. I'm gonna use her ability to swap up her.
There it is. Made the call. Made the call.
Yeah, he must have known that he still had that elder from earlier, so that's the right play. And now Shane is forced to flip.
Has to flip his king. No other option. He's toying with it, but...
We've got some
Oh, hold on, Dan. Your stream seems to be going down.
Oh, shoot. Can you guys still hear me? Oh, my gosh. No. 1 second. Sina, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine.
All right, we're back, I think.
No, the stream is not going. Everything else is going fine, except for the stream, it looks like. Oh, here, it's back. We're back in business. All right, folks. Well, it seems like even Comcast has a flair for the dramatic. So apologies for that, but we should be back. Hi, folks.
We will, this is a cliffhanger at the end of an episode. We'll actually be back tomorrow. No, I'm just kidding. We will pick up here just a second, just making sure the players are still good.
All right. It seems like even...
All right.
Yep, you good?
All right.
Let's
They're
do
confirming.
this. I flip, I pull into my hand. You play the beautiful card that I'm sure you have.
Ooh, Shane's just
Um,
conceding defeat,
yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah, this is painful to see that. Yep, there it is.
Well played, bud.
Oh,
And that's 2
wow.
points.
Point win.
Yeah.
What
a
a
game.
What a
comeback.
comeback.
Juno
Is that
is
7?
Yeah, you
out
won.
of
Hot
control.
diggity.
Oh my
celebration there.
gosh. What an intense
What a
match.
climax.
That was exciting stuff.
Oh
Really
man, you could
intense.
tell
Really
that Shane is
edge of your seat thriller.
both proud and bummed out at the same time.
And you know
I'm sure
what
he's
else?
happy his buddy's
These
going
guys,
out.
they've known each other for a long time, so there was a lot riding on this.
There was a lot
emotion.
riding on it.
They could say it themselves. All right, well, wow, what a crazy game, crazy comeback, and man, I just have to say that was a wonderful game, and congratulations to Junoballs for coming all the way back from having 0 points to 1 point to 3 points to 5 points and now to 7 points. It was hard fought, and that last hand was just a clinic on how to, outplay your opponent in terms of putting the successor down, the correct successor down, and just figuring out what they have in their hands. So really good on him. I think he played that really well.
That's exactly right. What's this has shown for me is so much about winning a set, getting the 7, is about losing by 1 point when you can lose by 3, and by winning by 3 points when you can win by 1. It's not just about winning and losing. It's about maximizing the wins so you get the most out of what you can and minimizing the cases when you're behind the 8 ball. And we saw so much high-level play today, really excellent twists and turns the whole way. But what ultimately decided it was Junoballs was behind the 8 ball, got some bad hands, and fought them down to 1 point. And there was one hand where it really looked like it was going to be it, and he managed to turn the tables. And it's just high-level play by both of them. I mean, Shane played excellently, so did Junoballs. It's a shame someone had to lose, but
really
we really were the winners by seeing such great play.
Absolutely, and I'm really looking forward to Shane showing us some of the same skill he portrayed here in the losers bracket. I'm sure he'll come back. He's actually joining us right now, so if we want to switch on over.
All right, we're going to head over to our interview room, our post-match interview room.
Can you guys hear me?
You are on the stream.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, wow. That was intense.
What a game.
Yeah, he lulled me to sleep. And it was a good rope-a-dope strat. Hats off to Junoballs, snatching the victory there. From a 5-0 deficit.
Yeah, I mean, that's you came out firing at the beginning there.
Yeah.
What do you think the turning point there was?
When I didn't mull the hand I knew I should have mulled. And
Which one was that?
That was it was the one where I basically had a bunch of low value stuff, and I don't think I had the assassin. I think it was the third or the fourth hand, and I thought this is interesting, but it wasn't like I didn't put my foot on the gas like I should have. Didn't seal the deal.
Well, I think I remember that hand very well, and you did do an excellent job at taking what did look like a mulligan hand and fighting it down to a 1-point loss. But yeah, it's so tough, especially at the end. Did you feel the pressure, especially when Junoballs reversed that one hand? It looked like it was going to be all she wrote, and then he managed to pull one out right at the end.
His late princess play killed me twice.
Yeah, and we were thinking in the commentator's booth here, why would he put his princess away, right? And it just happened to catch you off both times. And I mean, what are you gonna do? That's a really tough situation to be in. What do you think? What do you think you're going to? I was gonna say, what do you think you're gonna change when you go to the the losers bracket here? And why is it playing the judge more often? I'm sorry.
It's probably not playing the judge more often. I think probably I should have just been more aggressive in game 3, and I should have aggressively mulliganed. I think that thinking that I could play that down to a 1-point loss while that was true, I think I had an opportunity to just finish it there, so I probably should have. So I think that's probably, going into losers, that's probably what I'll change.
Well, Shane, again, want to thank you so much for one very hard-fought hand. It's a shame anyone has to go to the losers bracket after that one. But again, that's the reason why this is double elimination. It is not the end of anything just yet. A couple of wins, and you'll be right back right when all the money is at the end of the tournament. So thanks again for some very great play tonight.
Fantastic play.
Thanks, fellas.
Yeah. We'll see you around.
Okay.
All right. Whew. So, again, heartbreaking, especially not just the fact it was a comeback, but the way in which the comeback unfurled. Again, he was right on the money about those late princess plays, really turning a couple of hands around, especially that first hand where it looked like all was lost on Junoball's side, where that princess made it all happen. And here is the man of the hour right now, connecting here on the Zoom in the interview room.
That is Junoballs J Frog.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Well, hey, just wanted to, first of all, congratulate you after one intense match. Was there any point tonight where you felt all was lost, where you felt like you were cooked, it was over?
Well, I got to say, after burning 5 points worth of unforced errors, that was a stressful point in the match for me.
But you're able to think it through, kind of take your time and play through those other hands just meticulously. I mean, especially the last hand. I want to go to the last hand there where you decided to successor your princess after quite a lot of consideration. What were you thinking when you decided to do that?
Well, I was pretty sure he had the assassin, so I didn't want to pocket anything I was going to be using early in the game. I don't. You probably have noticed that I like to flip my king pretty early. I'm not big on going for the 3-point plays. And I want after that Trixie fool swap the game before, I was feeling kind of sassy, and I already had the queen out there if I needed a big drop, so I knew I could deal with a couple big plays in a row if I needed to.
On a 5-5 game, you were like, I'm feeling a little sassy. That's wonderful.
That's,
what's a better time to get sassy?
That hand towards the end. So when it was 5-3, you got what appeared to be a very weak hand. It turned out to be stronger than it seemed on the face of it because a royalty card was one of the burn cards. When you got that hand, having already burned your mulligan, just to get that relatively weak-seeming hand, did you feel like it was over then?
It was, yeah, that was a tough look right there. I did not have a lot of hope. I tried to not convey that outwardly to Midget, to Shane, but I don't know. I rolled with it, and it worked out in my favor. That one felt more like luck than anything when I was just staring down the fool in my hand and not much else. So.
Well, you played it fantastically, and again, congratulations on making it past the first round in the winner's bracket. Well deserved, well fought, and also a pretty good birthday present, I have to say.
Yeah, it's feeling good. I'm turning very old here in about an hour, so I'm gonna celebrate this evening.
Well, happy this week birthday.
Happy birthday to yourself as well, Dan.
Yeah.
Yesterday was your big day, right?
That's right. So, hey, we're in the Cool Kids Early August birthday club. Couple
Absolutely.
of Leos in the house.
I feel a little left out now, so... Anyways, thank you so much, Junoballs, and thanks for participating. Those amazing plays, and we're looking forward to seeing you. I'm not sure when we'll pull up the tournament bracket and check it out, but we're looking forward to seeing you face off in the upper bracket up next.
Yeah, can't wait. Thank you guys for hosting this and for all the guidance you've given players like Shane and I along the way. Without you guys showing us how, we wouldn't know what we were doing up here.
Well, thanks, Junoballs. Again, thanks for some terrific play tonight. Congratulations on your win. Looking forward to seeing you at the next round of the winner's bracket, and good luck in the rest of the tournament.
All right, gentlemen, have a good night.
All right, well, speaking of the bracket, let's zoom on over to where this leaves the bracket here. Let me pop that on our screen. So again, that's right, it'll be Junoballs who'll be advancing on to match 8. He will play the winner of the Sasuke Dancing Pharaohs tilt that will be coming up, and Shane will drop over to what will be match 6, and he will play the loser of the Sasuke Dancing Pharaohs match.
Sasuke.
What did I say? Sasuke? Wow.
Maybe you're just still feeling the sass from Junoballs' sassy plays in the last game.
Hey, just be glad I didn't call it Sasuke. But yeah, Sasuke. That's the Pennsylvanian accent way of pronouncing Japanese names. But there you have it, folks. That's what we're going to be seeing. Now, the next match, Sina, when can we anticipate the next match?
Yeah, so we have actually a doubleheader tomorrow. So tomorrow, if you didn't get enough of the Imposter Kings tournament, all 2 hours of it today, we still have 2 more matches to be played tomorrow, both upper bracket matches, starting at 5:30 p.m. PST. And then right afterwards, we have another 9 p.m. match PST on Saturday. We're going to have Sasuke and Dancing Pharaohs. We also have Will and Dolan duking it out, Will being Mr. Rogers.
That's right. So it'll be interesting. We'll have all of the first round brackets wrapped up at the end of tomorrow. We'll see what our next matches are going to be as a result of all of that. It'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. And I got to tell you, after a match like that, I might be exhausted, but I'm also really looking forward to seeing what is next, because we've only played 2 matches in this tournament. Both have been extremely well played. Both have been nail biters, and both have been a great preview for what we're in store for the rest of this tournament.
Absolutely. It's been absolutely fun watching people play. Everyone has a different style of playing, and it'll be interesting to see how those styles progress as we go through this tournament. So really excited for the next couple matches, and looking forward to seeing you tomorrow, Dan.
Likewise, Sina. Well, have yourself a great evening. Everyone in the audience, thanks for being a great crowd tonight. You have yourselves great nights as well. we'll see you here on this stream tomorrow night for a doubleheader. And until then, we wish everyone the best imposter kinging that you can have. Take care, everybody.
I don't know what that means, but
I
goodbye,
don't either,
everyone.
but good night, everyone.